Okay, hi guys, welcome to this review of the Campfire Audio Vega 2020. I've just waxed poetic for about 20 minutes in another review of the Dorado and why I think that the Dorado 2020 is the best earphone that I have heard to date. Going to be controversial, but I don't really care because I think that to my ears they're just unbelievably good sounding. About $200 down the price range, at about $900, you'll find the Vega 2020. The original Vega were a very good set of earphones, but from memory they are nothing like what these ones are. So I'm just going to quickly go into the box and the packaging, and then we'll get into the actual earphones. So with Campfire Audio, you'll get your delivery and it will come looking like this. You have the earphones on the outside. Most of the Campfire Audio earphones come in this square box now. You turn it around, you peel it open, and as you open it, it starbursts to display the box in the middle, and if you move it away, it's the Campfire Audio logo. I love that. I think it's a really great touch, very clever. Starry night sky, mountain scene with a little campfire down the middle where your earphones are, and Campfire Audio logo in the middle. It's all recyclable packaging, which I'm a big fan of, and you get the Campfire Audio nicely done. Now these have already been unboxed, so everything's a little bit out in the open, but you have the box with the accessories. The earphones actually come in one of these pouches and sit inside the case. You get a little user manual, which nobody will read. Put it to the side. Cable we'll get to in a second. Inside the pouches you get a host of ear tips. You get 3 different types of ear tips with these earphones. You get the focus. You get the Final Audio E-Series tips, you get Comply tips, and you get a regular sort of silicone style tip. You get the Campfire Audio pin badge, and you get a little cleaning tool to keep earwax out of them. And as I say, there's an extra bag there that the earphones come in 1 and 2 and holds the accessories. So it's a nice little touch. The cases, as I mentioned in the Dorado review, the cases for Campfire Audio earphones have always been excellent, and unfortunately I just don't think it's the case with the Dorado and the Vega. They've got this new material and it seems to be causing a lot of problems. The Dorado has a manufacturing defect, this crinkling, which is, from my experience with textiles, it's an overuse of glue on the application when you're layering it to the bottom sheet, and then you get this crinkle effect when it dries. This one doesn't have the crinkle effect, but if you can see the grain is offshooting over there. The grain is perfectly horizontal in this one. And this just looks like it's kind of been sloppily put together. Other than that, it doesn't affect the operation of the case. The zipper's a little bit sticky, but apart from that, you still get the padding on the inside that's going to keep your earphones safe. You get the Campfire Audio logo there, and there's one on the zipper. So I think they should just change this material. I don't think it's up to their usual standards, and I don't think that should have passed quality control, but it's a case, and to be honest, I'm not going to use the case. So the Vega, we'll get to that again. Sorry, cable, one more thing. Yeah, the cable is okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Campfire Audio cables. It's a quad twist, or is it a dual twist? Quad twist into a dual twist past the splitter. Right angle jack with a 3.5mm connector with a small Campfire Audio logo just there. Cable guides, MMCX connectors, no strain relief, but you don't need the strain relief when you've got the cable guide. Metal splitter, metal slider, and the little Velcro things to help you tidy them up when you're not in use. It's not the same as the cable that you get on the Solaris. The Solaris cable is a thicker gauge. This is the Solaris on the right. This is the Vega cable on the left. So you can see the Solaris cable is a thicker gauge. Both of them suffer from the same property, which or the same problem, which I'm going to demonstrate just like I did in the Dorado review. So if I take this cable and I wrap it up and I put it down, and if I take this cable, this is the $120 Shure Tape Pro. If I take this cable and I place it down, you know, that one moved a little bit, but it's not became the bird's nest that this one does. It does, you can see here, there's little pockets of memory that the Campfire cable retains. And I've got this one wrapped up all nice and neatly because I'm actually just using this, the Super Smoky Lits cable after I did the preliminary listening with the regular Smoky Lits cable. In terms of function, it's fine, it's a cable. All cables sound the same to me. It's good quality, it just has that memory retention that I don't like when I throw it into a pocket or a bag or something and it gets all tangled up. But as long as you use these little Velcro straps, you should be good to go. The earphones themselves are amazing. Without a doubt, one of the best looking earphones that I've said that the Dorado are the best earphones that I've heard. These are the best looking earphones in my opinion. I wish that they did the Dorado in this pearlescent white. The ceramic housing is something that stems from the original Campfire audio line when they had the original Lyra earphone. The Lyra was an amazingly musical earphone, and I think a big part of that comes down to ceramics being used in housings. Panasonic had one of my favorite earphones of all time. I can't even remember what it was called, but if you remember, it was the zirconia housing, and it was super hard, and the way that the sound bounced off the inside of it and the way that the music decayed when combined with a dynamic driver was just really special and different sounding. These are very special, and I'll get into that in a second on the sound, but let's have a look up the top. You see this seam that runs through it. The other Campfire audio earphones have a metal body, much more industrial looking, so they use screws to hold the body together. This one I think is just clipped and then glued into place. It has a brass nozzle. It's got medium depth insertion, and it's super small. I mean that's a really small earphone in comparison with, say, the Solaris 2020. I mean that is a night and day difference. These are super comfortable, and there's something about the ceramic that keeps them really cool to the touch when they're in your ear. They don't seem to retain any heat. They just feel cool, comfortable, and virtually disappear. Especially this cable, I'll give it credit that it's very lightweight, so in combination with a lightweight earphone like this, it works very well. You have the gold-plated MMCX connectors, which is always my preference over 2-pin connectors. That's just personal preference. And you have this tiny little bass vent hole here, which is going to allow that beryllium dynamic driver to breathe a little bit. The change from the other earphones in the line is the grill pattern, where you have these oval grills versus just a dot pattern grill. I think that's just a regular design choice, aesthetic choice, but it does stop dirt and earwax building up inside the nozzles. We'll get into the sound. And to do so, I'm going to bring in the Dorado and do it the same way that I did in the Dorado review. So we have the Dorado and the Solaris. So this isn't really by comparison. If I was doing this, if it wasn't for COVID, I would have the Andromeda with me right now, but the Andromeda are in my house in another country, and I don't have any way to get to it because I have to quarantine for 14 days. So realistically, if you had the Andromeda here, you would have $900, $1,000, $1,100, so all within a $200 spread of each other. The Andromeda very much more neutral, not completely neutral, but super detailed, super accurate. You know, a very good critical earphone to be listening with. This one, love it to death. Absolutely love this to death. This is the one. If you listen to a lot of different genres of music, this is the one you want. It's got more enhanced bass, it's got a little warmth to it, it's got loads of details, but it's primarily a very versatile earphone. This one is just an all-out bass cannon. I mean, it's a refined bass cannon, it's definitely an audiophile bass cannon. But this, the sub-bass response on this is absolutely ridiculous. This slams so blooming hard for such a small earphone. It really delivers a punch, low, deep sub-bass rumble, real ethereal hit to your eardrums. Drum and bass sounds incredible. 2 feet quick musical doodles. The first minute of that song is got really deep impactful sub bass, and these absolutely bang with it, as they do with most other music from Festa, Mr. Bill, Black Melt Infected Mushroom. Just sounds fantastic. But when it comes to something that's going to be a little bit more tamed, like if you're listening to jazz with the Vegas, it tends that the low end is going to overwhelm, especially if there's a presence of a double bass or something in the background. That double bass is going to sound a little bit too strong, with a little bit too much reverberation on it. In terms of my ultimate pick, it's going to be the Dorados. I think the Dorados are the best earphones on the planet right now. I'm not even joking about that. That is, I have the 1ZR, and I mentioned it in the review of the Dorados. And the more I think about it, the more I see myself getting rid of the 1ZR, because these are smaller. The 1ZR are a pain in the ass to live with. They are also $600-700 more expensive than these. But if I exclusively listened to bass and I had $1,000 to burn, I'm not saying I would go with these, but they would be in consideration. But that is purely based on not looking for something that is going to be able to do other stuff, like, as I say, jazz or rock. You're going to find better earphones that are more tonally correct for those sort of listening situations. In an ideal world, I always talk about having multiple earphones and having one for each job. Personally, I have the Etymotic ER, is it the ER4 SR studio response? I have them for critical listening and evaluating things like DACs and amps, just because it's pure flat. I always have one listening earphone, one pure listening earphone that I'm going to use, and usually that's the Solaris or the Sony IERs. They will probably, the Solaris and the IERs are probably going to take a back seat to the Dorados now. And then on the bassy side of things, I've not really had an earphone, because I've been kind of satisfied with the bass response on the on the Solaris 2020. Actually, to be fair, I prefer the bass response on the original Solaris, although these are a better earphone than the original Solaris. But again, the original Solaris are monsters in physical size. So if I was creating the perfect setup, you know, one critical listening earphone, one musical earphone, and one bassy earphone, I would remove that. I would consider this. Consider it. There's other bassy options available there. I think the sub bass is ridiculous on this, so it's definitely in contention. This one would be my musical, without a doubt, and I would stick with the Automatic just because they are completely flat. I'm not saying that you would want to actually listen to the Automatic, because they're terrible if you're just wanting to have a listening session and enjoy your music, lay back and relax. They're far too flat and visceral for that. But that would be my ideal setup right now. So 2 earphones, both zirconia, super bassy, audiophile bass earphones, and audiophile musical headphones. I don't know what you want to call it. High end, either way, really good sound from both of them, just for different purposes. So that's it for another review. Stick with us because we've got a couple of planar headphones sitting in the background. We got a couple of cheaper earphones as well kicking about. We have the Blonde BL30. I have reviews coming for these Love Me DACs and players, and a bunch of other stuff that's going to come out within the next week. So if you like this video, please consider giving me a subscribe. Feel free, if you want to give me a recommendation, you know, a recommendation for ways that I can improve this channel. I am very new to this. I know I don't speak perfectly on camera yet. I have a very thick accent. I'm trying my hardest to make it better. People have already talked about the audio issue. As I say, I've been displaced due to COVID, so I don't actually have any of my camera equipment, and I'm using this sort of janky budget setup just now. So that will hopefully improve around about February next year when I get back to all my equipment. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to, if you want me to buy anything, bring it in, test it. Or if you've seen anything else on the channel and you want me to do a direct comparison. I mean, do you want me to do a direct comparison between these two? Do you want me to do a direct comparison with the Monarchs? Do you want me to do a direct comparison, a full video direct comparison, a shootout? Do you want me to discuss more alternatives? You want me to focus more on sound and less on the build quality and stuff like that? As I say, I'm open to suggestions, going to build the channel, and yeah, really enjoying it so far and enjoying the feedback I've been getting from a lot of people. So thanks for watching, thanks for taking your time, and I hope you tune in for the next review. Thanks again.